72 hours. That's all it takes. In most cases involving a predator and a victim, the entire selection process, the watching, the testing, the closing in happens within 3 days, sometimes less. And the terrifying part? The victim almost never knows it's happening. Today, we're going inside the psychology of predatory behavior. Not to glorify it, not to sensationalize it, but because understanding how predators think, how they observe, how they select is the most powerful tool you have to protect yourself and the people you love. What you're about to hear is based on real case files, FBI behavioral analysis reports, and decades of criminological research. You will never look at the world the same way again. Let's start at the beginning. The moment a predator first sees you. Most people believe that violent crimes are random. Wrong location, wrong time, wrong day. But behavioral scientists have known for decades that predatory violence is almost never random. It is calculated, it is patient, and it begins with something criminologists call the selection scan. A pioneering criminal psychologist who helped shape modern behavioral analysis, studied hundreds of convicted predators and found a consistent pattern. They don't pick victims, they eliminate everyone who doesn't fit. Think about that for a moment. They are not hunting one person. They are filtering through dozens, sometimes hundreds, until one person fails to trigger their internal alarm system, until one person appears in their twisted psychology as the path of least resistance. And what are they scanning for? Not appearance, not gender alone, not even location. They are scanning for signals. Behavioral signals that most of us broadcast completely unconsciously every single day. The first 24 hours, this is what researchers call the observation window. A predator in this stage is not approaching. They are watching, studying your patterns. When do you leave? When do you return? Do you walk with your head down? Do you make eye contact with strangers, or do you avoid it? Do you seem distracted, phone in hand, earbuds in, mind somewhere else entirely? In 2013, a study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence showed convicted violent offenders footage of people walking down ordinary streets. They were asked to identify who they would target. Within seconds, not minutes, seconds, they pointed to the same individuals. Over and over again. The pattern was not about size or strength. It was about awareness. People who appeared unaware of their surroundings were chosen almost universally. One convicted predator, interviewed inside a federal prison, put it in chilling terms. He said, and I want you to really hear this, I never picked someone who looked like they were paying attention. I picked people who looked like they were already somewhere else in their head. Already somewhere else in their head. This is why behavioral psychologists emphasize situational awareness not as paranoia, but as a psychological shield. Your awareness signals to a predator's brain. This person will fight back. This person will scream. This person will be remembered by others. And that is enough to make most predators move on. Hours 24 to 48, the testing phase. This is where the psychology becomes deeply unsettling, because this is the phase where a predator makes contact, but not in the way you'd expect. They don't reveal themselves. They probe. They test your boundaries using what psychologists call low-stakes violations, small, almost socially acceptable intrusions, designed to measure your response. They might ask you for directions and stand slightly too close. They might make a comment about your appearance and watch how you react. Do you laugh it off nervously? Do you look away? Do you apologize even though you've done nothing wrong? Or do you hold eye contact, respond firmly, and create distance? Take the case of a notorious serial predator who terrorized Alaska for over 12 years. Investigators later pieced together that he spent days, sometimes weeks, testing potential victims in public spaces, watching how they responded to discomfort, watching whether they would assert themselves. The women who pushed back, who walked away without explanation, who showed zero tolerance for boundary violations, he avoided them entirely. This is what criminologists call the interview, and most victims never realize they're being interviewed. The psychological principle at work here is called compliance momentum. Once a person complies with a small violation, laughs off a rude comment, tolerates an invasion of personal space, answers questions, and they feel uncomfortable with a predator's brain, registers this as a green light. Not because the victim is weak, but because their social conditioning to be polite, to not cause a scene, to avoid conflict is being exploited. This is not the victim's fault. fault. Let me say that clearly and directly. This is a deliberate, calculated exploitation of the social norms that most decent human beings live by. Predators weaponize kindness. They weaponize our instinct to be agreeable. And that is what makes them so dangerous. The final 24 hours, the closing phase. By this point, a predator has observed. They have tested, and now they move. This phase is characterized by what FBI profilers call controlled urgency. The predator creates a situation that requires an immediate decision from the victim, a sense of pressure that collapses the victim's ability to think clearly and trust their instincts. Think about how many true crime cases you've heard where survivors describe a moment, a gut feeling, that something was wrong, and yet they ignored it. They got into the car, they accepted the help. They didn't want to seem rude. They second-guessed themselves. Gavin de Becker, in his landmark book, The Gift of Fear, analyzed hundreds of violent crime cases and found one consistent truth. In almost every case, the victim felt something before anything happened. A tightening in the chest. A quiet alarm somewhere deep in the subconscious. The predator's final move, the closing technique, is specifically designed to override that alarm. To give you a socially acceptable reason to silence your own instincts. They create urgency. They create obligation. They manufacture trust through rapid, intimate conversation, a technique called forced teaming, where they use phrases like we and us to create a false sense of shared experience and alliance. Within minutes, your brain begins to categorize them as familiar, as safe, when nothing about the situation is safe at all. So what does all of this mean for you? Understanding predator psychology is not about living in fear. It is about rewiring your instinctive responses so that you are no longer an easy target, not because of how you look or where you go, but because of how you carry yourself, how present you are, how quickly you trust your own gut over social pressure. The research is clear. Predators are not looking for a fight. They are looking for the easiest path. And when you become someone who makes that path difficult, someone who is aware, who holds boundaries, who trusts their instincts without apology, you fundamentally change the calculation. The last 72 hours of a predator's selection process can be interrupted at any point by awareness, by boundary setting, by the simple, powerful act of listening to yourself. The question is, are you paying attention? If this video made you think, made you more aware, made you want to understand the psychology of human behavior on a deeper level, subscribe. Because every single week, we go deeper, we go further, we explore the hidden psychological forces that shape the world around you. Stay aware, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.